Joining us now is Brian Altounian. He's the founder of Atlas Voyager Wealth Maximization Strategies. Brian, always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, Don. Always great to be here.
Well, you're the master of finding money for companies, and you've been talking about ERC lately, and that's really, description is found money.
It's true. And I've been talking about it a lot, and partially, Don, it's because there's a window of opportunity, and that window is starting to close. So the ERC, for those who don't know what that is, that's an employee retention tax credit. It's a credit. It's a rebate. It's cash that comes back on payroll taxes that you have already paid into the government for keeping your employees on during the pandemic in the years 2020 and 2021. And so the company that we work with helps companies submit their 941, their quarterly payroll tax reports on those employees that they kept on board in order to access this rebate. And so the reason why the window closed is that government only gives you a certain amount of time to submit your amended 941 reports. So the year 2020, that is up next April, and the year 2021 is up the following April. So we have about 25 months left to get access to this money. By the way, Don, the government set aside this money, payroll tax dollars that have come in, things like Medicare, sick time, all that stuff. Where you paid that payroll tax into the government. They've set that money aside to offer rebates to companies. So it's there. If you take advantage and you get that money back, great. If you don't get it back. So we're trying to tell people, companies that had at least 5 employees, this is really to benefit small businesses, 5 to 500 employees. There's an opportunity to get back their money, and it's a rebate. It's not a loan. If they got PPP, the amount that they get back is a little bit less. But Don, it's between $10,000 and $26,000 per employee that these companies can recover in this ERC program.
Now you've established some really spectacular success stories. Want to share a couple with us?
Yeah, sure. We have a bunch. Well, and my team, I have a team that's really started to take this on because they realized that window of opportunity was so short. We had a company that was a construction company. They had taken PPP loans during the time. They were considered an essential business. They have 40 employees. Don, they're getting back just under $780,000 as a tax rebate. I've got another company that was a game company. They had 50 employees. Their return is going to be $944,000 that they are. By the way, IRS has already approved it. Have already approved the resubmission of the 941s. They just have to submit the forms and wait for the IRS to send them their checks. And it doesn't matter. I have a roofing company that had 7 employees. They're getting back $70,000. So you can see it varies depending on the size, but it's definitely worth it for companies to access this money. First of all, there's no fee up front with the company that we work with. So if a company is charging people up front to access this money, I would say shy away from them. You only want to pay if the company is successful in getting you your money back. So the company we work with only charges a success fee after the company has received their checks from the IRS.
So you're helping the companies, you're doing all the work, the company just has to cash a check.
That is pretty much it. They submit their 941s. Our company does all the valuation. They do all the evaluation. They do all of the work, and then they help the company refile the 941s. They track the 941 form as it's submitted. They track the payments back for the company, and they guarantee if on the very, very, very slight chance that there's a potential audit for a company, a lot of companies get concerned about that. Our company stands behind it, and for at least 5 years, we'll stand there and actually perform side by side to make sure that the audit is justified. But the reality is it's not really that necessary because the IRS approves these filings before they actually get filed. That's why they know how much money is coming back to the client. And this ERC program is phenomenal, Don, and I'm a big fan of helping companies find access to money. We talk about the going public process. I know a lot of the companies on MoneyTV have talked about raising money through secondary and tertiary opportunities, funding opportunities. There are tremendous. I will tell you this, companies that are in an enterprise zone or that operate in an opportunity zone, there are funds that have been put together that invest in companies, what they call an opportunity zone. And so if you had an investor that had a big capital gains tax bill coming due, they could take that and defer that capital gains for a period of time, for a certain number of years. If they keep their investment, they do that by investing in an opportunity zone fund. If they keep that investment in there for 10 years, their capital gains are wiped out. So for an investor who's looking to take some of their capital gains and parlay that, there's an opportunity to defer your capital gains. The other thing about it is, if you're a company that is a project that could possibly apply and get opportunity zone money, there's a real incentive for opportunity zone investors to invest in your company, again, depending on the kind of an industry that you're in. Opportunity zones, enterprise zones. There's a site called SBIR.gov, which is a seed fund that the government puts out. There's the EDA.gov, which is they call the Economic Development Administration. So there's always government money available, private money, obviously fund money, family office money, private equity money for companies, depending on what stage they're in. So we are big fans of helping companies try to access these funds. The ERC is the easiest. It takes a couple of months to get it, but I'm telling you, that's money that you've already paid in. You don't have to pay it back. You get that. You can put it to work wherever you want that money to be applied. If you want to put it in create a foundation for your company and create additional tax benefits, a whole bunch of ways to access capital for companies.
Well, people are saying right now, Brian, I want you to get me some money. How can I get in touch with you?
The greatest thing, the easiest way is to hit me up via email at brian@avwms.com. That's Atlas Voyager Wealth Maximization Strategies. So it's just Brian, BRIAN, at avwms.com. Easiest way for them to get a hold of me, and always through Don and MoneyTV, friend of the program, and really want to help you and your companies actually get access to capital wherever we can.
Brian Altounian, Atlas Voyager Wealth Maximization Strategies. Brian, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Don. Thanks for having me on.